What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So it is that time of week. We are back again to talk more about Dexter Resurrection. Episode 9, Touched by an Angel, dropped. It's just been like a day or so. But we're not wasting any time. We are at the end of the road when it comes to the series. We have one episode left titled And Justice for All, which will drop later on this coming week. But as we always do, we're doing a week by week summary, thoughts about the episode, thoughts about the series. So FYI, we're just going to jump right into it. So spoilers, spoiler warning, spoiler alert. You've been warned. We're talking spoilers. I don't know how many other ways I can say it. It's in the title of the video, and I think I've said it now 4 or 5 times. So if you haven't seen the episode, I understand. It just recently dropped. Go watch it, come back, drop a comment in the comment section, and let me know whether or not you agree with the scoring, whether or not you agree with where this series is finally coming to in its own compared to maybe the original series, maybe even to New Blood, which if I was comparing it to New Blood, it's light years, better than New Blood. I don't think there's anything that New Blood is better than. I would probably even take Original Sin over New Blood. And you all know I wasn't a big fan of Original Sin, the prequel series. So let's get into it. Again, so this episode was called Touched by an Angel, and I'm just going to say it right out the bat. I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. We're just going to spoil it right out the gate. Angel dies. There you go. If you didn't know that and you're still watching, then you were massively spoiled because Angel does die. I didn't think Angel was going to die up until maybe episode 10, because when you go look at the credits for, how many episodes and what episodes each actor is in, the actor that plays Batista shows as he's in all 10 episodes. So unless he's going to be like this Harry type figment of Dexter's imagination in episode 10, because Dexter will have some level of guilt for Angel being killed. I guess that'd be the only way Angel would pop up, unless there's also then a flashback that was never pre-recorded in like the original series or earlier on in this series. That would be the only way he could possibly show up again. So I don't understand how that could be. Again, I was looking at the credits thinking, okay, he's in all 10 episodes. Either they're going to kill him off in episode 10, which was one of my guesses, or he was going to be like a major focal point cliffhanger, and then they would do away with him early on in a season 2 if they moved to a season 2, which I think it's safe to say they're moving with a season 2. But let's now let's get back to the beginning. So where we start off with this episode, it picks up right where the last episode ended, episode 8, where Prater walks in and introduces himself to not so much to Dexter, but Harrison, as Dexter and Harrison are sitting there eating, and that's where we pick up. We have a bit of a conversation there. As you can see, Dexter is getting more and more worked up, manages to get Prater outside. Bit of a back and forth threat. Hey, don't leave my son out of this. Don't mess with my son. Blah, 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 blah. Typical Dexter fashion. We saw that earlier on in the original series when it came to his 2 adoptive children. So, obviously it would be the same matter with Harrison, right? So he finds that Charlie had tracked him down, and he didn't like that. And he clearly tells him, leave my son out of this. Now, does that happen? Do you think that would happen? No, that's not what happened. So eventually, as the story moves on, Harrison is told by his boss, oh, hey, we have a late breakfast order. They're asking for you. And he's a bit confused, doesn't think nothing of it, which seems kind of odd why he wouldn't think something's odd with that, considering everything that has happened, considering the fact that he was, involved in the first murder of this whole series kicking off that still hasn't been solved. The fact that he's being specifically requested to deliver a breakfast order would again trigger me to think, that doesn't seem right. But he goes anyways, and who's there? It's Charlie. So Charlie has a brief conversation with them, and only to now find out that she knows his real name. His real name is Harrison Morgan. Questions him on that. Harrison has a brief phone conversation with Dexter after the fact, and Dexter now takes action. Dexter tracks down where Charlie lives, breaks into her home, only now to find who she truly is. She's a previous soldier, as was her mother. And as he's going throughout the house, he comes across Charlie's mother, her sick mother, who has cancer and is being like, she has like this own like floor, like a room where they've almost converted it to a full hospital type room. And now Dexter now knows he can kind of use that against her. So as we see Charlie getting into her car, Dexter pops up from behind her with the classic dark passenger method, where he gets this chain wrapped around her neck, tells her to drive, and they have a brief back and forth where Dexter finds out that she's been forced into working for Prater because he's the one that has paid for, made sure her mother's gotten all the right care to keep her alive, to keep her going. So it was a trade-off. We find out now it was a trade-off that Charlie sacrificed her services in order to attempt to save her mother, even though she knows her mother will eventually die. Batista now gets found out when he tries to go back to NYPD to get some more information because he took a picture of Dexter and Prater while they were outside the restaurant at the beginning. And he's now confronted with the fact that you're not a police officer. You've broken the law. You're impersonating. It doesn't matter. You're retired. You have no authority. And he couldn't necessarily ask the question of who was Prater. He couldn't show him the picture. So as he's leaving, he sees a poster for the gala event that's being held, and he sees Prater. I keep seeing Prater. I think it's Prater. Is on the poster. So now he knows who it is. So what's Batista think? In his righteous mind, he thinks, I need to go see this individual. I need to warn him that his life is in danger, that the Bay Harbor Butcher is going to get him. So he manages to get a face-to-face with them, shows him the picture that he took of the two of them outside, and then that's where the scene kind of ends, where Charlie and Prater share this look like, oh, we're going to have to find out who this person really is. Dexter then, on the previous invite to come by Prater's place for them to have a come to Jesus meeting, so to speak. And they go down to the serial killer vault that we saw in the first, I think the second or third episode, we saw it, where Prater keeps all of his serial killer trophies. And as soon as they walk in, that's where we see Batista strapped down to the table. And it's right there revealed that they know he's the Bay Harbor Butcher because Batista told them everything. And then it all made sense to Prater that when he took Dexter through the trophy room the first time, he saw that how Dexter immediately went towards his blood slide box. And he didn't think of it anything at the time, but again, it all made sense now. He vocalized that. It says, now I understand why you went to that. It was your trophies. And he told him, hey, you want to add another one to your box. So he wanted Dexter to kill Batista. He was glorifying in the fact that I'm going to watch you conduct your work. And he disarmed Charlie because he could see, maybe Dexter's feeling uncomfortable. And we see Dexter walk over. He was handed a knife. Honestly, I thought maybe he's like, okay, maybe he is gonna put Angel out of his misery, because we're hearing the talk over where Dexter's saying, well, Batista's never gonna give up. He keeps coming at me. So a small part of me thought maybe he will kill him just to end it, just to say, you know what, you were right about me. This is really who I am. But his moral compass swung the other way, and in the talk over, he thought if he had let Batista loose, that maybe he could convince him, or maybe that the two of them would work to get out of there, even though he knows he's the Bay Harbor Butcher. That was a mistake. As soon as he cuts him free, Batista attacks Dexter, almost kills him, almost chokes him to death, right up until Batista starts getting just shot. And we quickly see after that Prater is the one shooting him, probably shot him like 5 or 6 times. And then at that point, Prater and Charlie escape, locking Dexter in the vault, which we now know, and we knew then and we know now, there's no escape from the inside out. At least we know that up until this point. We were always meant and led to believe that fact. And Dexter makes his way back over to Batista, where Batista curses him as he dies. And before that, Dexter did confess that he was the Bay Harbor Butcher, but he didn't kill Dokes and he didn't kill LaGuardia. But Angel held him responsible, and again cursed him, and then dies. And then that's where the episode ends. Now, this episode, compared to the previous 8, is probably one of 2 of the best episodes outside of the Gemini cliffhanger. That on its own was, I think, superior. But this, again, when you watch this episode, this felt like a true Dexter episode. He's confronted by somebody. Something he loves is threatened, and he now takes action, where it's that cat and mouse thing where he broke into Charlie's apartment. He's finding something that he can utilize to hurt them or use against them, then confronts that individual. In a normal fashion, he would have eventually, had someone on his table, taken them out, and that would have been the end of it, with a few minor twists and turns. The twist and turn here was that Batista thought, or obviously didn't realize who Prater was, thought he was being a do-gooder, only to find himself now at death's doorstep, at his own hands. So now we have one. Now, as far as ranking this episode, I would give this one a 4. I'm still sitting at a 3.5 for the overall series. Again, 9 episodes in, 2 of them I thought have been pretty solid, but 2 out of 9 thus far, with the other 7 in my mind being kind of mediocre, kind of mid-level, doesn't get me up to a 4 for the series. And I don't know what they're going to be able to pull off in this last episode 10 that would get me at a solid 4. I still think 3 solid episodes out of 10 doesn't get me to a 4. It might push me to a 3.5, and that would be so generous for me to go that far. Otherwise, it's been pretty mid for me. And maybe that's just how first seasons go. That's not how I thought this first season would go, considering the history we have with the character, considering the previous series we had with the character. I would have thought this would have been out the gate strong. Now, I know a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people feel this is the best show ever. This is absolutely cinema. This is Dexter's never been better. I don't feel that way. I'm not in that camp, and I'll stand 10 toes down. I'll die on the hill by myself saying I don't think this is that at all. I think this was been pretty mid. I said maybe a 3.5, and that would take me being fine. I concede. I'll give it a 3.5. Now, again, as far as where they're going to go with the 10th episode, as I stated, that the name is And Justice for All, I can't imagine they would kill off Prater in the first season. It would make sense to me for them to keep going. And I now question whether or not he's the New York Ripper. And I say that because of the tool that has now been identified to be the Rippers. The length of the tool would make sense considering the height of Prater. He would use a tool like that in order to reach or wound his victim in such a fashion to subdue them. So I know many people thought it might be, I even thought, could it be Blessing, the landlord? Could it be the detective? Or I'm thinking now it's Prater. I'm thinking if it's going to be anyone, it's going to be him. And that's why he's so intrigued and having like these serial killer dinners, meetings. He's a benefactor for them. He tried being a benefactor for Dexter. He told Dexter, you kill Batista, I'll be your benefactor. You and I, we will lure serial killers here from across the world, across the nation, once a week, every year, and then you can do what you do. And Dexter didn't go for it. And he ended up freeing Batista, and then, Batista died. So Dexter's now locked in the safe, no way out that we know of, and now it's a matter of where we go from here, right? So that's where we're at with this episode. What we're going to do now is we're going to watch now the 30-second episode 10 promo, and that's all we're going to watch. So I understand that episode 10 leaked somehow, and many people have seen it. Many people, spoilers have been going around like crazy about what happens in that episode. I have not seen it. I don't know what happens in it. I purposefully am avoiding that altogether. So I will not be speaking on anything about that. I don't know anything about that outside of the 30-second promo, which is just a trailer for it. So we're going to watch that now, and then we'll wrap up this video. So let's get into that.
Welcome, everyone, to my favorite night of the year.
Prater killed Batista, and I'm next. That thing for justice. Maybe it runs in the family.
What a turnout!
You're not going anywhere. Time for the world to see the real Leon Prater. This was not on my list of ways to die.
So not a whole lot to tell. It was, I mean, as you saw, it's a short promo trailer. It's only 30 seconds long, but we do see Harrison serving as a server at the gala. Not sure how he would have gone about to get that job. The only I can surmise is maybe that we see how this is cut is not in the order of the events as they happen, because we see him talking, who we believe is. Yeah, not who we believe. I think they actually showed Harrison, and then we see Harrison at the gala. So I'm thinking that's the sequence of events. The phone still works. He still has a cell phone down there, or he finds one because his Dexter's cell phone was taken from him. So I'm not sure how he finds one, but he obviously gets a hold of one down there. Calls Harrison. Harrison manages to get dressed up as a server at the gala, but they noticed him in the trailer. It appears that they capture him. I don't know if they capture him, subdue him, whatever they do to him. But then we see, we see Charlie back in the wine cellar, like the wine cellar that's on the outside of the vault door. So the only thing I can think of is maybe Charlie turns a bit. Maybe she's tired of being under Prater's thumb and decides to help Harrison, decides to help Dexter. That's the only thing I can think of, because again, we know that she's been forced into this, not necessarily something she wants to do. So otherwise, if they've captured Harrison and Dexter doesn't have a way out, it's not like he's gonna be able to call the police and say, "Hey, I'm trapped in this guy's vault with a dead body." So yeah, I don't really have any guesses on whether So my only guess and hope would be is that they don't kill Prater. I would like to see this kind of continue on. Because we also don't know whether, Al is still gone. So Al / Rapunzel. So unless he happens to show up, or, there's a twist there that we haven't foreseen, because again, he's the only one of the serial killer group that Dexter didn't kill or wasn't killed in general. So again, unless he somehow shows back up and tries to intervene, I would like to see Prater's character carry on at least into the first half of the next season. I think it'd be a waste to just get rid of such a large character with such a large outreach to other various serial killers that he could call upon to take care of Dexter. So anyways, that's going to do it for this episode 9 review of Dexter Resurrection. Again, episode name Touched by an Angel. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you thought of the episode, what you score the episode, and what you score the season as it stands. As a reminder, September 5th is they're calling it now the season finale, so I think it's pretty safe to say we're getting a season 2. It'll probably be greenlit or announced, I'm sure, any time now. And that episode, again, is called And Justice for All. And we'll be back next weekend with our wrap-up, not just on that episode, but on this series as well. So again, don't forget to drop a comment in the comment section, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next one. Later.